So without any further ado, though, I'd like to introduce our sponsors. I believe Brianna Collette. Is Brianna here?
Yeah, she was.
She just ran downstairs. Maybe we'll call on Dustin. I know Dustin wanted to go second. Sorry, Dustin.
No worries.
Hey, how's it going, sir? So Dustin Haley, he's a great friend, a reliable insurance guy. If you were here at our January sales meeting, he did a quick overview on just some things happening in the insurance world that we need to know as agents. And this is kind of a follow-up to his January presentation. Dustin Haley with the Insurance Club. And do we want to bring Mitchell up here as well? Or Mitchell, are you kind of observing today?
I'm observing.
Yeah. No worries.
You can if you want.
Dustin, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Well, appreciate you. How's it?
Oh, yeah. Need your information up there on the screen for you. There you go.
I'll stand right there. How's everybody doing this morning?
All right.
Good to see you. Always a pleasure to see Paul and his team, and it's been a little while. Yes, my colleague and friend Mitchell is with me today, who is also in the insurance world, but kind of new to the industry, kind of shadowing me today, so please be nice to him. And just be curious, meet some good agents today, and thank you for joining me. Awesome. Well, let's start. I'm not going to take too much of your time, I promise. And if there's any questions that come up or burning insurance questions that you just need to have an answer to, feel free to interrupt me, raise your hand, and jump in. But let's start with this. Show of hands for all of you agents that have had a transaction get held up or impacted by insurance. Kind of a trick question. Show of hands of anybody that's had an insurance policy or quote or whatever affect a transaction for one of your customers. Okay, a few of you.
Sticker shock.
That too. Fair enough. Yes. Well, if it hasn't happened, it probably will. I was hoping you would all raise your hands. That would have been way better. How many of those deals could have been alleviated, or that issue could have been alleviated by getting out in front of that, or them getting an insurance quote earlier, talking with their insurance agent the first week after going under contract, et cetera, et cetera. I run into that a lot, and I talk to agents. If I had $1 for every time that I get a call from somebody that's buying a house in Conifer or Evergreen or some other wildfire area, and they're already under contract and they need the insurance in a day or a week or some unreasonable amount of time, I'd have a lot of dollars. I think we talked about that a bit last time. I don't know if you guys, who I recognize a lot of you, we talked a bit about wildfire risk and just the challenges in the insurance market in the last few years. I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I definitely don't want to be all doom and gloom, but I will say that the last 3 or 4 years has been what we call the hardest insurance market in modern history. I have only been doing this about 12 years, but my sort of mentors and colleagues that have been doing it a lot longer than me concur with that. And the biggest challenge there is this property claims. Obviously, wildfire, which is the big topic du jour, and we'll talk a bit more about that here in a minute. But what would you guess? This is not a trick question. Does anybody know what the number one cause of our insurance premiums and the number one insurance claim or issue is that's caused Colorado and all insurance premiums to go up the most? You got it. So 2/3 roughly of that cost increase is from hail. Hail, wind, hail, same thing. The wind pushes the hail around. It has its own special deductible because of that reason. Has cost more money to insurance carriers than all other perils. When I say combined, it's 2/3. It's 2/3 of that. So sure, wildfire gets a lot of press because it's wildfire, because it's scary, because look in the sky, and when you go anywhere in Colorado, we were down in the mountains over 4th of July weekend. I was telling Paul and Mitchell there were fires all around us. It was really scary. And when houses burn down, it's a big deal. It's a lot of money. But wind and hail trumps that. It's every other house is having their roof replaced at $25,000, $30,000. That adds up. That's why it has its own deductible. That's why it's such a big deal. So Paul had asked that we talk about the House bill. Is it 1182? House Bill 1182. I believe it passed a couple months ago. It was earlier this year. I'll be totally honest, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I kind of read a bit about it and learned about it early on, but did a little bit of research on that, and hopefully this is somewhat helpful to you guys. Are you all familiar with that? Or have you guys heard about that or talked about that at all?
At the State House?
Yes. So the bill passed. From what I understand, I'm going to give you 3 points that I think will both address the bill and also hopefully be helpful for you guys as agents in transactions and working with your customers as it pertains to insurance. One, the bill does not or did not change underwriting for insurance companies, right? So statewide, it did not directly impact how companies approve or deny or make something eligible for insurance when it comes to wildfire, brush fire. It did change the transparency of what insurance companies are obligated or required to disclose when it comes to wildfire risk evaluation, if that makes sense. Those could be connected. There's a few different ways to look at that, but it's important to know that that's not a green light. Every house that isn't eligible for is now eligible. All companies are going to take all houses. Insurance companies are for-profit entities that are trying to remain profitable in a tough market. They're still going to have properties and risks that they don't want or aren't within their appetite. But they are now obligated to provide more information. So sure, they can provide you their proprietary risk score, wildfire, whatever they use to evaluate that in a climate or approve it for wildfire, they have to reveal that to you. So that's number one. Number two, there's not a standardized wildfire score for insurance companies across the board. I wish there was. That'd be a lot easier if it was a scale, from green to orange to red, and there's a nice number. But each individual insurance carrier is going to have their own and has their own proprietary evaluation system, and that's part of the reason why these companies are profitable, because it's proprietary to them, and they don't want to reveal or give that information away, but they on some level will have to. But it's important to know that there's not one standard number, one standard like evaluation wildfire score across the board, if that makes sense. It's almost like, this might be a dirty word in this room, like a Zestimate, like a Zillow number. Anyone? It's kind of a magic number. I think it's based on something, maybe sales. Where does it come from? Where does that Zestimate come from? Can someone educate me on that?
Nobody knows.
There it is.
It's an algorithm.
It's an algorithm, for
Right.
sure.
Sounds like a Nate Bargatze
Yeah.
answer.
100%. That's so good. It's exactly like that. And they probably like it that way, right? I always like to tell customers a house is worth what somebody will pay for it. I don't know if that sounds cheeky, but I just like the way that sounds. Zestimate is kind of a magic number, and that's a proprietary thing to Zillow and any other company that's going to provide some evaluation or value of the home. In the same way that these insurance companies are going to have their own system to evaluate a risk, decide whether that is profitable for them, is that a risk they want to take on, period. Number three, and I think most importantly, in terms of a transaction, in terms of a deal, we kind of touched on this before, it's super, super important that you get out in front of that issue. It's one thing. It's one thing of many, many, many things that you and your customer have on the to-do list when you're buying a house. They're docu-signing their brains out and working with the mortgage person and the realtor and the seller and all the people involved. But insurance is one of those things on the list that the earlier you can get out in front of it, the better. Before you even put in an offer on a house, if it's even, you can see trees from the house or anywhere near a forested area, what might be a wildfire risk area, have them call their insurance agent. Is it eligible with State Farm or USAA or American Family or through an independent agent like myself? Is it eligible? And if it is, what is the cost going to be? And if it's not, we have plenty of time to get out in front of that and figure out what the best option is. And is this even a house that I should be buying if I'm going to be paying $25,000, $30,000 a year for property insurance? Hope it doesn't cost that. It would more than likely just reject before it becomes that expensive. But get out in front of it as early as you can. We could sort of decode and demystify insurance and how they evaluate wildfire risk all day long. We can make it a full-time job, but on some level, we don't want to waste our time. It takes a really, really long time to turn any big ship around, and these insurance companies are massive, and it will take a very long time to have any kind of meaningful change, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of insurance and all the other regulatory, state. I think Polis even has a new reduction in home insurance grants, thing that's going to come out soon. And it may actually take effect, but it's going to take a long time for you guys. You're trying to help your customers buy and sell houses, get out in front of it as early as you can, and work with insurance agents that have access to as many companies as possible to figure out what the right option is. Does that make sense? Okay. Any random insurance questions at all? Just burning inside of you that you need to ask. Anything. Okay. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time. I think I told you this last time, but my name is Dustin Haley. I'm the owner of Insurance Club. I'm an independent agency, which just means that I shop insurance through multiple companies, not all companies, but all the companies that sell through that channel. I'm obviously a little bit biased because that's the world that I live in, but it's good to have options, and I'm happy to help any of you or your customers at any time with insurance questions or anything that you might need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
I just want to say, I only used Dustin. When we were 24, 25 years old, we didn't know what we were doing when we bought our first house. And like, Dustin Insurance is freaking me out. Tell me what I need to do. He breaks everything down, nice and methodical. He'll work with you to see, is it worth having a higher deductible, or can you get by with a lower amount to have different coverages? He's a good guy. So, Dustin, thanks again for being here, man. Appreciate it. And next up, the one and only Brianna Collette, Home Loans.
How's breakfast, you guys?
It's
Truthfully, it was
wonderful.
Dustin's idea. I can't take credit for that, but it's a good one, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to come up and say hi. I'm going to come back up a little later, and we're going to talk about marketing materials. You guys do some open houses every once in a while? Would you like to have a lender with you, maybe? Some support? Someone that helps with signs? Check it out. We've got Own Equity branded open house signs. I'll look it up so you guys can see it. We come with our own. If you guys are short signs, you lost a couple at the last one, we got you. We can supplement. And then we've got great listing materials. You all have one of these double-sided, beautiful flyers for you to take a peek at up close. I'm going to show you guys how to make these today. You can do postcards, beautiful postcards for coming soon, just sold, your open house. To be able to send these out, it takes seconds to put this together. We're going to do one right here. So if anybody's got a listing, I'm going to pick on you. We'll do your listing. All right, I'll see you guys in a minute. Yeah.
Thanks for breakfast. All right, guys. Let's dive right in. Maybe. Why is that going like that?
There you go.
There we go. All right. Do we have any new agents who have joined Equity who are attending their first meeting? I think I recognize everybody's faces here. Anybody who hasn't gotten an e-lapel pin that might want one? We'll make it fun that way. You don't have one, Karen? Oh, all right. Here you go. Gotta wear it with honor. Okay. Anybody else need an Equity e-lapel pin? All right.
No, I lost mine.
You lost yours? I'm feeling gracious today.
Okay.
If you guys ever want one of these, we have them down in our office. It's just fun to give them to our new agents. We have hired a handful of great agents, but I want to quickly shout out the referrals. So the following agents referred fellow agents to Equity. Bobby Barajas up in our Winter Park office. He referred Sam Heiser. Sam is awesome. She's from England. She couldn't be here today. Really good agents coming from, I think, Sotheby's and other companies. So, again, our team keeps growing with some great people. And Kevin Miranda referred Nadine Pimentel, great agent. And then Najud Hogue referred Miriam Garawi, I believe is how you say that. But thank you for your referrals. Your referrals mean the world to us. As I sound like a broken record, but you guys are the ones shaping this great culture of this company. And you know anybody who could benefit from what we're doing, send them our way. We'll take great care of them. You guys can get those $100 profit share payouts for every deal they close. Dominic.
What's the count on how many agents we have in Colorado?
In Colorado, we're at about 520 between our other offices. Here in Denver, I believe we're right at about 284. We've also got Colorado Springs, which is kind of, they're under our name a little bit. We're working with the manager down in Colorado Springs. And so if you add them, there's about 50 to 60 agents down there as well, bringing our total up to about 300, 310. So we're growing. even in these markets, we're going to talk a little bit about the Brian Buffini bold predictions and what the market's doing and where are agents going and what are they thinking. This is still just such a great business model, and that you can be your own business brand. You're running your business as you see fit, but you have all these resources. And I think that's going to be really appealing to a lot of agents coming from these big companies that have been involved with lawsuits and they have all kinds of things happening. So we want to grow with people who you love, who are in our industry. So please keep your ear to the ground for anybody who might be looking to get away from that big corporate chaos of questionable consumer. I won't go there. You know what I'm saying. So, but good sized company right now. We've got a lot of great people with us. And here are a handful of their pictures. People we've hired from our last meeting. There's Sam Heiser. We've got Andrea Straub, Samantha Hockman, Nadine Pimentel, Yasmin Benar, Christopher Herring. These are our newest agents. All right, built to last, our theme for 2026. I've been seeing this image float around on social media. I thought it was just kind of fun to switch things up. Let's take a look. The math of success is brutal. Frank Sinatra, 1,200 songs, 209 hits. That's a 17% return. Babe Ruth, 8,399 attempts, 714 home runs, 8.5%. Pablo Picasso, 150,000 pieces of work, 1,170 masterpieces, 0.07. That's pretty impactful, I think. Forgive the cheesy AI image, but that doesn't look like Babe Ruth. My point, though, as we tie this into Built to Last, if you focus on being so successful all the time, you're going to burn out. Success isn't everything. You just have to enjoy the process. You have to keep swinging. You have to keep trying. You have to keep failing in order for those successes to come to the table. That's the only way to do it. And there's another quote that comes to mind. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. I personally struggle with perfectionism where I have all these projects and I don't want to execute on them because they're not quite right. But that's my own interpretation of it not being right. If I just launched these projects, they'd be done. Not perfect. I can make refinements later. And I think that kind of captures this whole image. You just have to go and do and try and experience, and all that good stuff will rise to the surface. I think that is a nice metaphor for Built to Last. You have to zoom out and see what you're accomplishing as those successes also make it to the top. So, any thoughts on that? Anything coming to mind in your lives that you're like, I think I have some successes after all these tries at different things? Nope, we're good. Okay. Oh, Crystal, yes, go right
So
ahead.
it's just adding to those stats.
Yeah.
So, I'm an avid tennis player.
Yeah.
So an interesting statistic that's similar to that is Roger Federer only won 54% of his points.
54%.
54%. Think about that. He only won 54% of his total points in his career.
Man.
So it's
Yeah,
like you only have to win a little more than him.
He's one of the
And
greats.
there you go. And you're one of the
He's-
greats.
He's who I think
You
of
don't
when
have
I
to be
think of
perfect.
tennis.
Right. That's his whole thing. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you don't. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up and give it your all. That's good. There's going to be another moment in the meeting here where we can elaborate and share kind of that same concept of what's the point of all these things I'm doing if I'm not seeing any results? Well, the point is the process, and that all it takes is that one thing to happen. Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning. For that one thing to happen where it's worth all of the efforts that you've put into that specific task up until that point of that one success. So we'll elaborate on that. But I thought that one was fun. All right, moving right along. Did anybody get a chance to watch the Bold Predictions webinar on July 30th?
I got half of it.
Half of it,
Okay,
right?
good. I'll just kind of open it up. Any thoughts, anything that jumped out at you before we share our quick highlights or takeaways?
I like that the average agent is 13 years in now,
Yeah.
plus, because for a while it had really shrunk back down.
Yes.
And I find that I am the demographic.
57.
Late, yeah.
57. I think 2 out of 3 agents are women.
Yeah.
Women are just dominating. Go girls.
Is it 63% or something?
Yeah, pretty crazy. And I agree. I think we are seeing that in our recruiting. The agents that we're hiring are of a higher caliber. They've been in the business a lot longer, which is good because all of those people who got in as a side hustle, I hear that all the time. We interviewed somebody and first thing she said to me, real estate's kind of a side hustle for me. And I'm like, you don't want to say that to the employing broker. I was like, yeah, me too. Yeah. My point with all this is I think we're having these really tough times in our industry right now. Deals are just complicated. There's a lot of conflict. People are at each other's throats, I've noticed a lot. I think we're going to start to see that taper off because the quality of agent is just higher now. All the ones that are new and kind of green causing issues, unfortunately, or maybe not so unfortunately, are the ones leaving the business.
I feel like the last 2 years, every agent I've worked with has been great.
Yeah, good. See, then we're already seeing it.
Cooperative, like answers their phone, emails, texts.
Good. That's what we want. And that's what you guys are doing. You're being that agent for the other agents out there too. So we've got a good group here. Any other takeaways though? Any highlights that came to mind from that? You want to just address with the group?
I think you're going to get into it, but some of the where we spend our time.
Yes.
You're going to talk about that in a moment. But
Yeah.
how
Where we
our-
spend our time
Yeah.
as agents.
It's like, wow.
And being critical of that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to look at that image and go, no, that's not me.
Yeah, that's
Back to Facebook. As I spill water all over myself. Well, I just kind of boiled it down to some of the things that stood out to me that I think we can elaborate on as a group, just to kind of give you a national overview of what the real estate industry is doing. And then we'll zoom into our Colorado market. Greg has put together a great stats presentation for Colorado. So some of this is a little bit of repeat from his other coaching events, but this was an interesting one. Baby boomers make up 42% of buyers and 55% of sellers. 42% pay with all cash. Almost half. His point, and stuff that we've been working on here at Equity, there's this whole Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you guys know Gary Vaynerchuk? He's an interesting guy, great, energetic guy, but he's encouraging agents to be content promoters. You should be pushing out an enormous amount of videos. How many did he say? Like 50 a week or something like that? Well, and I agree with Brian Buffini because it's our whole philosophy. You guys are not content creators. And the content that you might be putting out on TikTok or Instagram, yes, there could be some importance to that. But we're missing a huge mark of a demographic. Baby boomers are not scrolling on TikTok, and they're the ones doing most of the transactions right now. They're also the ones that aren't worried about interest rates because they're sitting on so many assets and so much cash. Those are the buyers and sellers that we kind of want to try to align ourselves with. Not to discredit some of the social media presence and things that you need to do to stay top of mind. I just want to shine that light on focusing on the demographic that is truly buying and selling right now.
And what was this percentage about women? Like
The
how
percentage
many
about-
women who sold because half of them had either a family member living with them,
Yes.
a child, or Gen X,
Yeah.
who's multi-generational.
Yeah, and I was going to put that slide in, but I didn't. But to your point, a lot of millennial buyers, we all kind of have this preconceived notion of what a millennial might be. They're on tech all the time. They don't quite know what they're doing. I'm kidding. I can say that because I'm a millennial. But an interesting stat is that a lot of millennials are buying multi-general homes right now so they can take care of their parents. And the cost of living is so crazy right now, they want to kind of consolidate into one piece of real estate and keep family close. I think I do have a similar stat. I'm going to come back to that one. took it out, but there's a big demographic, a huge portion. I want to say, I'm throwing out numbers off memory now, but something like 56% of 30-year-olds who are still living at home. And that's kind of a trend. We're seeing people just kind of consolidate into one house. So that might be an area of business that you want to pursue. Maybe you find a millennial buyer who's looking for those multifamily units, those multifamily homes. Call the hotline when you put a deal like that together if you haven't done one before. But so just shining that light on who's buying homes right now, and what are we doing nationally. A couple other things that I wanted to mention. Yeah, first-time home buyer age. He's been talking about this for years, but this is crazy. 1991, the average age was 27 years old for a first-time home buyer. 2008 went up to 30 years, then 33 years old, and it's projected in 2026, 41 years old is the average age of a first-time home buyer. It's crazy. Student loans.
That's what I hear from so many.
Cost of living. The other thing I think it is people think it's so unattainable. And this is where we can tangibly make changes. It's our job, to echo what Brian Buffini said, it's our job to tell consumers the truth and show them the options that they have, that home ownership is more accessible than they realize. And there's all these crazy investment things happening right now. Crypto, betting, like I didn't even know about this. I'm so naive as the millennial that I am. People are spending a lot of money to bet on things with easy wins. That is so easy to lose that investment. So we have to come up with these narratives of home ownership will be and always has been one of the safest investments that you can make. You need a place to live. And I think this is the next slide. Hey Doug, we've got some more chairs for you. Grab a chair for Doug. Oh no, here's one. Good to see you, Doug. Good to see you. So his slide on real estate appreciation was pretty impactful. So this is the history of real estate appreciation, annual change in the value of U.S. residential real estate over the last 75 years. There's a ton of green up there. And so this was kind of the recession. It's so blurry I can't see what year. I want to say
2006,
2006 to 2010. Those were really the only times that we saw red. And that was because there were some highly unethical things happening. It was a crash. We feel like this market is so tough because it is. It's hard right now. But there's still a lot of green up there to showcase that real estate is still a really safe investment. And we have to turn off all that negativity that we're seeing on social media. There are companies that are trying to put out posts to shock you and to scare you and to doom and gloom it. We need to be talking about this stuff with people on our social media, making videos to tell the truth. So that was a huge takeaway that I got from Brian Buffini as I was watching that. I think my notes here, consumers need to hear that from us right now. And then, no surprise, we keep saying this, the majority of transactions were generated by repeat customers and referrals. I sound like a broken record because we keep talking about Buffini. We keep talking about the fundamentals. We keep talking about the basics, the relationships. It's because our industry and the world we live in is always after the next fancy item, the shiny object, a brand new website and CRM that's going to yield you 50 deals a year, or whatever it might be. All of the agents who are successful right now, in this room, in this company, in this industry, I would argue 70 to 80% of their business is coming from referrals. You guys know that, but I just have to really drive it home because when the market is a little bit slow, it's easy to search for other things and waste money on things that you feel like might benefit you. I feel like I can say it wholeheartedly that I've seen enough agents do it, and enough agents have come back to me and said, I will never do that again. And I'm talking spending $3,500 on leads or $6,000 on a website that's supposed to generate leads. not to discredit that there are platforms out there that do help, but before you do any of that stuff, please have a truthful conversation about your basic fundamentals. Am I doing the things that I know I should be doing that I don't really feel like doing, like making my calls, going to lunch, doing client appreciation events? Those are the priorities. You hear this from me every month. I have some sort of rendition of this, but how are you guys feeling? Do you need to keep hearing this? Or are you like, Paul, we're already doing it, that's why we're crushing it? Because I know a handful of you in here are. Yeah, a lot of you guys are. My job, as my role increases, is to just keep us on track. Keep us on track with the things that matter. And we're doing the same thing as a management team, too, with our recruiting. Yes, we want to build a cool website. Yes, we want to create really cool classes. But what's the priority? We've got to recruit and keep hiring agents. And it's the same thing. You guys have to keep generating leads. Keep getting in front of your people. Build that community that I know so many of you are. So that's where I'm coming from. All right, we get it, Paul. Move on. So the bold predictions. His bold predictions, housing prices will increase by only 0.9%. That makes sense. Wages will increase by 3 to 3.5%. That's a good indicator of where we're headed. As people make more money, home ownership might become more attainable. So that's a nice offset of that only 0.9% increase of home prices. Hopefully the wages will allow people to start buying more homes. He predicts the Fed will not raise rates this year. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that from Brianna. And then existing home sales will finish at 4.03 or 2. His head is blocking that. I think it's 4.02. That's about flat. Last year it was 4.01 million transactions. So this year we're slightly better, 4.02 million. So that's what you're feeling when you feel these longer days on market and these listings that are sitting. It's just because we're flat right now, and it's supposed to happen. The market is correcting itself from all the craziness of COVID that took place. The extremely low interest rates, the 30 offers on a property. That's when all these agents got into the business because, anybody can sell a house right now. I just have to throw a sign in the yard. You guys just have to stay the course with the fundamentals and keep going. Keep honing your skills because that's what's going to get you through these slower feeling markets. But things are still good. Things are still good. Oh, yeah, Dominic.
I was just gonna ask, what's the last one?
Yeah, sorry. 60% of the industry will be independent within 2 years, and I wanted to talk about that.
Don't you think Colorado's already there? Like, I feel like we've had so many independent agents for so long.
Yes. I'd say independent is a whole nother ballgame. The thing I wanted to bring to light about this, there are a lot of companies like Compass and Coldwell and these huge acquisitions, and power in numbers kind of starts happening. We saw similar things back when I first started with Todd and Stacy, where Anywhere had massive acquisitions. That was when we did our best recruiting, because if you get too caught up in corporate chaos, these companies are so big, you have to push their brand, you have to push their marketing, you have to push their policies. You're no longer a business owner at that point. You have to set your commissions at a certain amount in order to satisfy what they need to bring home as a company. So that's why a lot of people are going independent.
And they're expensive.
So expensive. So the downside of going independent, if you're thinking of maybe I should go independent, that's a whole nother hardship because you're alone and you do have a lot of expenses. You don't get to come to a sales meeting and have camaraderie with 50 people and have these conversations. You're sitting at home behind a computer watching Buffini going, I don't know what to make of that.
But equity is the best of both worlds.
I agree.
It really is.
Thanks for saying that, Karen. I agree. It's taken me many, many years to figure out what makes us so special at the heart of it. And it's our people. It's you guys. We're professional, down-to-earth, friendly people. We let you run your businesses independently, but we take care of all the hard stuff that if you were an independent, you'd have to buy your E&O. You'd have to get a CRM. You'd have to have a compliance team. You'd have to have some training for yourself. That's why I truly think that in the next year or two, our company is going to see a lot of growth. And the more that we grow, the better things that we can offer you as agents to continue to build your brand. We're already scaling for that. That's why we hired Greg on officially and Sarah Klassen on officially, which Sarah's in Florida. I'm looking at the camera. Happy vacation, Sarah. You've earned it. I hope you're doing well. But we're preparing for this growth. And that's an exciting place because you're already here, settled in. And just keep doing what you're doing. Focus on your business and let us support you where you need it. So, any other questions or thoughts on that you guys want to share? Feeling good? I'm actually excited. I'm seeing it change. I'm seeing it. Things are going to get exciting again. So this was funny. This is where I wanted to spend a lot of our time today because we are human. We all fall off track. And we know the things that we need to be doing to generate business. We're lead generating machines. Without leads, we don't even have time to do all this other stuff. Well, errands you can do without leads. That's why it's a big chunk of where we spend our time. So this was a survey that his company did amongst agents to determine where agents spend the majority of their time. I'm going to start at errands. 31% of errands. That means the errands that we need to do throughout our day. Not to say that they aren't important. That's our priority, though, through the day. We're going to talk on that a little bit more. 19% is admin. So maybe it's updating your website. Maybe it's putting some forms together. Maybe it's doing social media posts. I think there's another category for social media. But the admin things, the things that must be done to get the job done, but they're not pushing the needle forward. 18% email, responding, putting out fires in a transaction. And then 29% internet and social media. The big one here. 3% talking with clients. That's crazy. Do you guys feel like this is accurate or no? It's different for everybody, but be critical of your days and what they look like. Because if I'll be the one to go out on the ledge and say, it's so much more fun to put classes together for you guys and to do really cool sales meetings and to build better graphics and websites. But if we're not recruiting, if I'm not recruiting, hiring more agents, we're slowly dying. And it's the exact same for you guys, though, with lead generation, finding buyers and sellers. There's all these things we get caught up doing because they feel important and they're fun. How much time are you really spending face-to-face with your people? It doesn't even feel like lead generation when you're just taking them to lunch and having conversations. So do you feel like this is accurate, or do you feel like, nah, I spend more than 3% talking to people? Yeah?
It's more fun.
To talk to people?
Yeah, I mean,
It's good.
we spend 3% of our time. I spend more. And that's the most fun. I'd rather go home and have a client and have a cup of coffee and talk to them than to do the admin work.
Yeah, I agree. And see, that's a good thing. That's how, if you can wire your brain to feel that way, because I think a lot of people feel intimidated. What if they ask me a question that I don't have the answer to? I really have to be on. Done is better than perfect. Alleviate that stress by just going, I'm just going to go talk to people today. And feel confident. I know enough about this business where if a question comes up, I might not know the answer, but I can get through that conversation. So then there's this concept of willpower. Willpower depletes as your day gets going. You were hustling to get the kids to school today. You missed breakfast. You came to the sales meeting. Paul called on me in the meeting, and that willpower is just going down and down and down and down and down. So when 3 p.m. rolls around, are you guys super excited to pick up the phone and go, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? What's going on in your world? No. We're like, I need to go take a nap and watch Netflix. Not everybody, but my point is, do the hard things first. Drink your coffee, go for your walk, and then do some deep work. Turn off the distractions, make those calls, schedule those appointments when your willpower is high. Then you've accomplished the big priorities of your day, your big rocks. All this other stuff then You don't have to feel guilty. You can just say, yeah, I called everybody. Now I can do my errands without even thinking about feeling guilty. Just do my thing. Pretty insightful. And I think it's a reminder we all need to have. And the reason we're doing it now is because we're halfway through the year. And this is what's going to help us finish the year strong, is if we just make some refinements, just make some tweaks to get in front of our people, to build camaraderie, to build community. Any other thoughts? Okay. We're going to keep it going. Consistency and basic fundamentals will get you into the top 20%. The problem is a lot of agents don't know what those fundamentals are because there's so many distractions in our business. There's so many new products and so many new things to try. Fundamentals can also be boring. I liked when Brian Buffini said that. You get tired of doing your note cards. You get tired of doing your lunches. You get tired of doing your client appreciation events. You want that excitement. That's when the fundamentals start to slip, though, and we go towards these things that we think are going to build our business, and then it turns out that they don't. So all I'm saying is focus on those fundamentals as you finish this year strong. Who haven't you talked to in a while? Who haven't you gone to lunch with? And you don't even have to think about business. Just go because you want to check in with your friend, and the rest will happen. Yeah, that's also why we sound like a broken record. I'm like creating these slides and I'm like, I know I said this two months ago. I know, but there's a reason. It's our business. It's what we have to keep paying attention to. So we're going to keep that same concept going. For anybody who didn't attend the last couple meetings, we have this new series called One Thing That Wins. These are proven incremental activities for sustainable success. We want to give you an item of value that you can incorporate in your business that will yield you more business or productivity. And I'm going to get off of this lead gen hoorah in just a second. Freedom is the ultimate reward of entrepreneurship. How many of you got into the business because I'm in charge? I can do whatever I want. I can go travel. See? It's a great thing. You probably know what the next slide is going to say. But without structure, freedom can become the silent killer of your business. And your mental health, too. We've been having a lot of hard calls from agents who are giving it their all. And the client's not seeing their value, or you're just fighting every element of the transaction. You guys had one of those lately? Yeah. I worry about you as a mental health. I mean, mental health is huge. We have to take care of ourselves. And I just feel like right now a lot of agents are down because they are dealing with some tough things. Keep going. Know that all of this matters, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. I say that cautiously, but take care of yourselves and do the things that you have control over so you can go to bed at night knowing I gave it my all. That's where structure comes in to help you. So you are the boss, but you're also the employee. Are you holding regular performance reviews and productivity check-ins with yourself? Are you?
All the time. That's why we have mental issues.
That's true. I can relate to that, Tamara. Because you can dive too deep into this headspace and then you can start questioning yourself. So I think the next couple of slides will help you with that. My point here, though, Greg, Sarah, and I, and Allie too, we meet every Tuesday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. to talk about what's going on this week in recruiting, what's going on this week in support line, what's going on this week with projects we want to implement. It's the only way that we can stay on track with all the stuff of running a brokerage, all the things that we deal with to make sure we're truly moving the needle. Same thing with corporate. As I get pulled with corporate, we meet every Tuesday from 9 to 10, saying, what are your big rocks? What are you working on? Where are you having trouble? You have to have these talks with yourself You can have those talks with us too. You can reach out for that structure if you need help finding some of those answers. My point is, you have to look at this like a business. And I know a lot of you do. I don't want it to sound like you're not, because I know you are, but I think there's room for improvement for all of us. I'm speaking from my experience. So questions to ask yourself: what's happening this week, this month, this quarter, this year? How many appointments do I have on the calendar? What projects are you currently working on that excite you? What projects do you want to start that just seem too daunting? Write those down so you can figure out how to get them into the list. What goals are you trying to achieve, and are you close? What are your non-negotiable tasks and big rocks? The things you have to do before your day is over, no matter how painful they might be or how much you might be dreading them. It's good to write those down and see them. And then how could you improve that thing that didn't go well? Back to Frank Sinatra, Babe Ruth. Maybe you did a listing presentation and it just didn't feel good. How can you improve that? If you guys pick a day out of the week and just ask yourself these questions, spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes on this, I think it will truly transform the way you think, the way you feel. Are you guys doing this? I'm seeing yes, and I'm seeing maybe needs work. That's good. That's why we're talking about it. So your item of value, your one thing that wins. We have a move forward daily success checklist. It's right in front of you there. This is not new, but part of our job is we have to remind you of all the things we have back there in Elevate because we get busy. Stacy Schuster and Todd Schuster made me print these off every morning and fill them out. And I thought, oh my God, on top of everything else I got to do, you want me to do this? It made the biggest change in my day. So the categories. So what I want you guys to do, print these out. Print a stack of them out. Leave them in your office. And whether you have to wake up a little bit earlier to fill this out, or maybe you do it the night before you go to bed. So you're setting yourself up for success. This helps put structure into your day and into your month and into your week and the tasks. So the categories. Up top left, you've got these tasks don't produce income, so do them quickly. What are some of the tasks you maybe put down on that list? Paying taxes, social media, laundry, emails. Social media is a big one. I hear from so many agents at roundtables. I started out going online to post an image of business, and then I got sidetracked and I went down the rabbit hole of these videos and to see what my friends are up to. And we need to acknowledge that, so we turn the distractions off, jump on Facebook, post it, and move on. So I like that one. So we'll move to the right. The things that I have to do but I don't want to do. What are some things you might write down there? Make a phone call. Check in with that seller who I haven't sold their house yet and it's been 6 months.
Thanks.
I've got meetings scheduled with many agents from our office about how to get through that because it's happening. That's why I address it. But it's an important person. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. An important piece of the puzzle to show your unwavering grit on getting this home sold. You have to do it, and you become a stronger person by doing it. You have to find the meaning in all those little things. Otherwise, what's the point? You will become a stronger person by making those calls. My day isn't finished until this is done. What might you put on that list?
5 notes.
5 phone calls? Yeah, 2 or 3 note cards, handwritten note cards to a past client, or maybe a video post, a really well-articulated video about the market. And homeownership is one of the safest investments that you can make. I'm not finishing my day until that is done and posted to my sphere. And then what lines will you put in the water today? Lines in the water, the ripples. What are you going to do to start something so those ripples in the water go? You don't have to finish it today, but maybe it's I'm going to improve my listing presentation materials. And so I'm just going to map out, make a list of what needs improvement. That was a ripple in the water that you can come back to next week. Any other ideas on that one? And then this one's important. Don't overlook this one. My reward for finishing all of today's tasks. You guys reward yourself when you are sitting down and navigating a tough day?
Yes, going to social media.
Going to social media.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep a little early. Watch 45 minutes of a show.
Have a glass of wine.
Have a glass of wine. Have 10 glasses of wine.
No,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff matters because it propels you towards this one thing that you get to look forward to. My guilty pleasure is playing some video games with some buddies. I sound like such a kid when I say that, but it's true. It's just fun to just talk to my buddies, and it's not something that pushes me forward in growth, so I feel guilty when I do it. But if I crushed my entire day, I can kind of just, better than watching a show because I'm chatting with my friends, you need something to look forward to get you through these hard things that you don't do.
But you could justify that by saying I'm chatting with my friends, so I'm making some calls.
Yes.
Business.
So what's going on in the real estate? Duck, dive. Yeah. It's true. Hand-eye coordination, there's some benefits to that. So I would encourage you, truly try this out. Print 5 of these and make it a goal to just fill it out quickly. You don't have to spend an hour on this, but fill it out each day. See if it makes you feel different. Because I think it will. Any other comments on that? Is it helpful? Do you feel like this is something you can implement? Okay. We've got one more bonus. You've seen this, but our things to do today checklist. That's also on your table there. These are just high payoff activities. If you're kind of struggling on what I need to be doing with business building activities, here's a quick list of things that have been proven to work. These are things that so many of you guys are doing consistently, and that's why you're seeing success. You just have to do them. A lot of these would be on the things I have to do but don't want to do list. That's what we have to do right now. We just have to work on it. Okay, and then wrapping this up, I boiled it down to my high priorities and my lower priorities. High priority items are calls, coffee, lunch meetings, handwritten note cards, pop buys, client appreciation events, open houses, videos. These are face-to-face interactions where you are in front of someone. That's when good things happen. The lower priority, I don't want to say that it's not a priority because they still have an important place, but the lower priority, in my opinion, passive marketing and social media. Over automation. So perfecting these drip campaigns and putting so much time into these drip campaigns, you can spend hours and days on that stuff. When really you could just go to an open house or do something at a networking event. Work on it, but make sure you're calculating how much time you're spending on these things. CRM and website perfection. Visual branding. Again, I don't want to discredit those things are important, but work on that stuff after this is all dialed in. Done is better than perfect. You can make refinements later. Then lastly, the fundamentals yield real results. Don't implement new ideas until your fundamentals are 100% dialed in. Make sure those fundamentals are dialed in before you start looking at that next shiny object. And I want to open it up real quick. Where are you seeing success? There's at least 2 people in here that I want to hear from. But after hearing all this, where are you seeing success? What's working? When did you do something in your business where you're like, that worked and that was awesome, and now I feel like I have purpose and it was worth it?
Well, open houses work if you work them, right?
Open houses.
Open houses work. I mean, it's just sometimes it's hard to get into the open house mood, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But they work.
They work.
A couple of weeks ago, one listing worked with Crystal on. We had 20.
Come on,
Sure,
Greg.
sure.
I want
We had,
everybody to hear this.
We had 20 groups of people through in 2 hours. So open houses can work, and they're still working, right? And I think it's important. I mean, I think in the open house class I mentioned one time I tracked the number of transactions from one open house. And it was a slower open house. Only had 2 people in 2 hours. But this one person that came in turned into 21 transactions over 10 years. So if it's built to last, if you have a system and all the referrals that they referred and those people referred and the transactions, multiple transactions. So that some way you're talking to people in open house, if you don't have anybody to talk to, people will come into your open house, whether it's a couple of people or 20 groups of people, right? So I think that's something that still works today, and it's worked for a long time. So, has everybody else had any other success with their open houses lately?
Yeah, I have. I last year, I had folks that said they were going to buy and they were going to do, but nothing now. And I went, I need something now. So I was doing an open house over in Lone Tree, next to the Lone Tree Golf Club, which I play tennis and do all that stuff over there. So I really loved that area. So I was doing an open house every week there. And I got one couple that came in and they were looking to buy. And so they bought within 2 months off of me at the Lone Tree Golf Course.
That's
so
awesome.
They didn't buy that house, but they bought out there.
So you put your intention out there. You need some business now, right?
Yeah, I went, I need business now. So, and I got it. And and
that's
so
great.
they have sons that are going to buy it. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I've had.
I also think it's like working out as the easiest metaphor. You lift weights for one night, you're like, yeah, I did it. But I look the exact same. Nothing happened.
Well, I
just
was
have
lifting
to keep
weights,
But my point is, you can do 10 open houses that are all just boring before you do the 11th one and meet that
Right.
one client that turns into 21 transactions throughout your career.
Well, I also, my very first open house that I did for Tony Murfield, she had a house in Castle Pines North, and I did it, and I've gotten 3 transactions from one client I got there.
Nice.
That's great.
So built to last, right? With Crystal or with
Crystal and Sarah? Go ahead, Crystal.
Yes, I had success. I've had a lot of success with open houses too. And I had one in June where I was hosting the open house for my sellers. And at the open house, it was very busy. And the buyers who ended up buying the house, they were actually like sitting in the back patio on the phone with their lender during the open house, figuring out how they could buy the house, put in an offer, not be contingent. And then I had another prospective buyer come in, so I ended up selling the house from the open house. And then I had another prospective buyer come in, and she was talking. She was getting ready to list her house on the market, and she was telling me about it. And I had buyers that was a perfect fit for. So then my buyers ended up buying her house. So it ended up being this whole like triangle of transactions.
That's awesome. Sarah, you were.
So mine is not open houses, but in general, I am a much more introverted person, and so sometimes like the thought of going out and getting lunch is like exhausting to me, which I still do it, but it tends to be the people I've already made the connections with that I like the most on my client base. But one thing that's been highly successful for me is hosting educational classes. I see that as like a big value add, especially for people who don't know. And I've been able to pair with a financial planning company, and so they host educational seminars on, estate planning and all sorts of stuff. And so I've become like a staple for them in their schedule. So quarterly, we run classes, and sometimes it's a market update, sometimes it's like, does it make more sense to renovate or to sell? And I almost out of every class I've gotten somebody who maybe doesn't turn over in the next month, but in the next year that has come back around because they're already trusted their financial planner, and their financial planner has brought me in as another.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's
Just
great. Do you do those
answer.
in person or are they online?
They're virtual.
Virtual, okay.
Yeah, and they record them so people can like sign in, say they want to see it. If they don't attend when it's running live, they get pushed out after the fact. And then I'm just on hold for them. It's like, hey, this person's going through this. Like, do you think this person's giving them good advice? So I mean, I do a lot of free work for them too, of just like, here, let me help them give you my opinion. but it's turned out really fruitful for me as a lead generation for somebody who is definitely more introverted.
That's a great idea. Absolutely.
I wanna applaud you because what projects do you want to start? You're true with yourself in that calls and that stuff freaks me out, but I need to figure out something else that's gonna work. And you did it. That's awesome. It doesn't have to be these traditional things. It then becomes what else can I do to get people in front of that I can get in front of people in a way that's true to me. That's awesome, Sarah.
That's one of the things Buffini said about the boomers, about hosting those kind of classes of wealth. And that's the part that I haven't finished yet. That's my area.
That's been every single client that's come up with.
That's great.
Even though I'm a lot younger, but they're like, oh, my trusted financial planner is saying this is the person to use.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And they're
Sarah.
providing me free info, like free education. So
Good job.
Awesome.
That's great. Crystal.
So I love hosting events. That's what I find that's the fun part of the business. And so I recently hosted, for the first time, I did a movie event. I don't know if any of you guys have tried a movie event, but I heard a lot of other realtors doing it, and they said they're successful, so I thought I would try it. And it was very successful. So it was, it was opening weekend for Spider-Man, and I did it at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton, the Aspen Grove. You can do AMC, whatever theater you want. But for me, it was a way that I could invite everybody in my CRM, and whoever, I had 95 people person capacity. So the first 95 people that registered, that's who was coming. And it was a way for me to like touch everybody and make everybody feel invited to something, because a lot of times I just do client events, but maybe they're not a client. Maybe it's somebody I met in my community. Maybe it's, maybe it's just somebody I met along the way, but I haven't seen them face to face in a while. So it was an opportunity for me to see them face to face, and it sold out like immediately. People, it filled up right away. People had a blast. I got to talk to each person, and I did my phone calls beforehand to make sure everybody was coming. I did my thank you notes afterwards, so I got my calls and my notes in
There you
too.
go.
And then I had 5 different people there say, let's get together for lunch. Let's go out for half the hour. Let's do this. And I have those 5 people to get together with. And then I saw some of the people this past week, and I just ran into them, and they brought it up again. I said, thank you so much. That was so generous of you. We really had a good time. They thought it was a classy event, and they really enjoyed
That's great.
themselves, and they were like so grateful for it. But it was just one more thing to say, remind them of me.
That's awesome.
I don't know. And it's an easy event, so you don't have to talk a lot.
You
don't have to talk very much.
And
it's easy to, you just get your own private theater. And it's going to be, you can do like pick a movie, it's going to be opening weekend, some kind of big hit, like a blockbuster hit. And you just write out.
Did you cover the food and everything, or the?
I did. But some people, they'll go in with somebody.
Yeah, team up with a lender.
Your lender will co-sponsor.
Good job, guys. There's just so many fun stories that I hear when you guys call in, like that one, Stephanie's garden event that you hold. And I just want to make sure everybody hears what everybody's doing, because that's where the really cool stuff is. So good job.
What's the garden event?
So yeah, Stephanie, do you have a couple minutes to chat about that?
I've done this now for 4 years in a row. I do a garden event at Livermore Garden Center, which is huge.
Yeah.
That's off county line. And all I do is send an invite to my entire CRM. I probably have between 25 to 50 husbands, kids, wives, but the owner does an entire teaching session. He teaches you on, right now, drought control, whatever's going on. And he takes you on a tour, and he always gives baskets, and we do drawings, and you leave with so many neat things that my clients are sad. Like this year I was late in getting my invites out. People were texting me going, I'm so sad you didn't have it this year. Did you leave me out? How come you didn't invite me? So they're pinging me before I can get my invites out. So it's really good.
That's great, Stephanie.
That's awesome.
And then I can follow up on what they bought. Like, hey, did that plant live?
gives you a reason to call.
Show me a picture of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love seeing the pictures of them on social media. Just
But
everybody
there's no
looks so happy.
fee involved, which is really nice. It doesn't cost
Yeah,
me anything but
that's awesome.
our
Yeah.
door price, our drawings.
That's good.
Yeah,
Great
really
idea.
nice.
Good job, guys. Well, I hope these checklists are helpful. The Move Forward checklist, truly, try it out for a couple days. See if it makes you feel different as you start your day and stay productive. And we're going to move right along. We've got Greg with his market stats. Thank you, Greg. It should just be spacebar.
Space bars, right.
There you go.
I'm going to go pretty quickly through these because there's a lot of other stuff I'm going to care. And these are stats that are available through DMAR on their website. But it just, and again, you have to think of these in context. This is the overall market for the whole Denver metro area. So for the metro area, median close price for July was slightly down, right? 1.54%, not terrible. But in close home sales, I mean, definitely down over June, and that's seasonal, that's very common. Inventory is increasing, that's common as well. And then, of course, with closed homes down, sales volume's going to be down. And then median days is up, right? So it's nothing earth-shattering there. Something that I like to look at is the overall market in a little more closely. And then this gives you the stats from over last year and how they compare to this year. But where I really think it's interesting is when you break it down. I put this one into. This is one I like to share with clients. The chart going back to the days when we had the mortgage meltdown and everything, and the inventory was, 30,000 homes on the market, and how that gradually came down. And you'll see how the demand, still it went down a little bit in 2008, 9, right? But it's been pretty consistent. Then we had the 2020 to 2022, 23 era where things went crazy, right? And then now it's just this normal pattern. But I also like to point out where these graphs get closer together, that becomes there's less inventory and the demand is pretty consistent. And so that puts pressure on pricing go up and faster sales times. As the lines diverge, then there's more days on the market and pressure on prices to go down. So it's helpful to educate your sellers and your buyers about this, when the timing might be best for them to go on the market based on the seasonal aspect, and also what they could expect as a buyer, what negotiating power they might have as well. So, and then the price points are kind of interesting. If we look at the categories that are performing better than others, I think some have actually, where we see attached condo sales, for instance. If you look at the closed sales, it's up in the lower price points. Well, I think there's price points that have come down to that. So the prices have decreased, so that's why we're seeing an increase in that price point. In the $1 million to $2 million range, so you see how that's been doing pretty well, right? I think there's some price pressure if the inventory is greater, but for the most part, and that's attributable probably to the amount of baby boomers in the market, 42% are cash sales. So you see that market is doing pretty well. The hardest hit are going to be really on the detached side, in the 500 to $1 million range, right? And we're probably seeing that with our listings that are staying on the market longer, more price pressure and so forth. These are statistics you can share with your clients and your prospects so they can have an idea of where the general market is. But as we know, everything's very localized to the specific property. Helping a client recently with duplex and townhomes down in downtown Denver. We're seeing a lot more price pressure. There's more inventory, so some of those are down 5 to 10% over the last year. So you have to really dial everything in very local. This is a good overview, though, to kind of give people a general idea. So. Okay. Hopefully that was short and sweet, right?
That's perfect. Any questions on stats?
Yeah, I mean, what are you guys seeing? I guess that's my question I would ask. What are you guys seeing as far as price pressure, inventory? I mean, we have some properties that are selling in a couple of days and some properties that are languishing on the market. It seems like they don't sell in a week. They are on the market for months and months.
Yeah. I feel like
Well, right now I have 3 sellers who I've had to say, we can't do anything. We have to put it on hold because they bought back in 2020, 21, and they're going to come out of pocket to, you know, so short sales. I think I might have emailed you guys. I'd like to look into a class or something on short sales because I actually have, you know, one of my clients is like, hey, I moved, I left the state, I own my house here, get rid of my house.
That's a good point. And we'll put one of those together.
Try to figure something out.
Because
Because
I've seen a lot more of those.
it's a Nikki feeling to tell people I can't help you right now. Like that's where I'm at.
What price point are those at?
They're in the under 300, you know, so I mean, and
Condos, townhomes?
Condos, one townhome, but but unfortunately that's where we're at, and there's so many on the market. Inventory is so high that it's like
there's like over 8
couldn't
months
even
supply
say.
and certain price points of condos.
So kind of a struggle there, but
We'll get something put together. Got 2 people for a short sale class.
okay.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of price reductions in pretty much all price points. The neighborhood where my listing is, it seems like the prices just keep going down. And I follow acreage properties and horse properties, and there's price reductions pretty much everywhere in those.
I'll quickly. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm having so many conversations with agents that they know wholeheartedly where they should be priced. But when the market is slow, you feel like a listing is better than not having a listing, so I'm going to let the seller dictate that price a little bit. Don't do it. Be stern and say, we can't sell your home unless we're priced here. And my job is to sell your home, not to just put my sign in the yard. Because I promise 3-6 months down the road, they're going to start to see, I see what you meant. We should have been priced at this point. Save yourself the trouble, hold true, be confident in that price, and try to get it through to the seller.
And I think also try to look at the most recent comps you have within the last 90 days. You know, when the market was relatively stable or increasing, I mean, we looked at comps 6 months, a year down when there wasn't many comps, a year away or past. And it's important to look at the most recent sales and the pending sales, what's going under contract when pricing.
But are price drops really that effective? There's one house I have on the market, we're talking about dropping the price, but 2 other houses in the same neighborhood have had price drops, and they're still on the market. They're not moving.
Yeah.
How many houses are on the market in the neighborhood?
In this particular neighborhood, there are 3 on the market right now, and 2 of them have dropped their price. I haven't dropped mine yet.
Are you best in show?
Absolutely, because I've seen the other 2 houses, and
Are you close in range?
what do you mean close?
Are you like, did the other one drop by 30,000, or are you like within $10,000?
Well, they're smaller homes, so I'm priced a little bit higher.
But not significant. I mean, July's slow.
It is, and I think it's more of a seasonal thing right now that's causing, because if I had this house available back in March, it sold it.
Right.
I'd say, real quick, go to List Reports. You know, List Reports in RE Colorado. Take a look at how many potential buyers you have who have saved that listing.
Can you step on it? Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, I can see your face.
Yeah, you look better.
Go to List Reports on Matrix. You can see how many buyers have saved that listing. That's the one where a price reduction could make all the difference. You've got people who are watching that. If you drop it just enough, they might write the offer on it. Good question.
And it depends on the property. One thing a price reduction does, it does kind of freshen it, get it out there again. So that helps to bring it up.
Yep.
Also, depending where you're priced at, if there's a bridge price point where you may get buyers are going up to this price point and buyers are searching from that price point, if you hit that bridge price point, that may make the most sense too. So
There's a similar model in the next cul-de-sac over that sold significantly more than my same model. Actually got 1 more bedroom and better house.
Yeah.
And so I'm skeptical about, I really want to lower the price because I know I can get more, but we close before June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st to me was the, yeah, that's,
Those would have been one in contract in, April, May.
I gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We got about.
Just very quickly.
Yeah.
So we all feel the market right now, but what are the predictions for like end of August or September?
Well,
The market gonna like pick up a little bit more, or this is gonna stay this way for the rest of the year?
the first thing is that the national statistic is we're going to be flat. We had 4.01 million transactions nationwide. We're projected to have 4.02 million nationwide, so it's going to be flat. Naturally, though, after summer, kids are back in school. We do generally see an uptick as we go into August, September, and October, and then sometimes even in the holiday months, November and December, pick up right before the New Year as well. So yes, I think personally we will see a little uptick like we did back in February after people settled down from the New Year holiday and all that. Things got a little busier in February and March. So now's the time to start having these conversations so you're ready to jump into action in August and September.
Yeah, I've seen
Anything
that.
else?
Yeah, that's what I see when I look at the stats. That we'll see a little bit of an uptick September, October. Typically, things start to we get a little more activity, and then of course November sometimes. It all depends on the property and price points. So.
If I may, as a little canary in the coal mine here that gets to see that activity maybe just slightly before you do as people are calling to get their pre-approvals done. July was very quiet. Anybody who went under contract in May and June, loans closed in July, very busy. August, nothing. Very, very quiet. Now that school's back in, I think yesterday was the first day of school for most of the counties around here. I'm seeing a big uptick. All of a sudden, my calendar is very full of folks that want to get their applications done, their pre-approvals going. So that last hurrah for end of summer, going into the fall months, we're just starting to hit it.
That's great. Thank you. So we got to cruise through these. I should have done this at the start of the meeting, but I felt like a motivator today. So these are real estate license law changes that are going into effect today. So these are things you need to be aware of. None of them are that crazy. I just want them to be on your radar. So to preface this, there is a full webinar that Marsha Waters, the head of the Division of Real Estate, did outlining what these are. I just want to quickly tell you the highlights of the big ones that I think you guys should know about. All of this stems from some new a bill that Governor Polis signed that affects the way that we do our business. I won't get into the weeds of that, but the big highlights that you need to be made aware of, the first one. So we've got the change to the statute or the license rule, whatever they're modifying, and then the meaning to us as agents, what it means. So this one's quick and kind of funny. Not really funny, but kind of funny. If you don't respond to a CE audit by the Division of Real Estate, they will now inactivate your license. We talked about that at our last sales meeting. Please respond, because you have to pay $1,000 if you don't respond, even if you have your CE. So that's just a quick one. They will inactivate you if you don't respond. I'm not worried about any of you guys, though, because you're so good at communication. But if you see anything from Dora, respond, no matter what. The next one here, this is affiliated business disclosures. So I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to tell you the new updates here. So you can review these when we send these slides out to you guys. The bill changes the disclosure requirements surrounding a real estate broker's affiliated business arrangement by requiring the broker to disclose the arrangement to the party the broker represents at the time of making a referral instead of disclosing at the time the real estate purchase is fully executed. So this is kind of cool. So Todd, you came to mind because you have an inspection business. Use Todd, he's awesome. When you're talking about home inspectors, here's my affiliated business disclosure. If you want to use me, that's when you give them the referral. They can sign that and you've fulfilled your obligations. The other piece, how many of you guys get all those disclosures from other brokerages that they want your client to sign? You don't have to do that anymore. Only the person you're representing who has been given the referral has to sign that form. The second quick note, the own homes affiliated business disclosure is still going to be required, even though technically we could get rid of it and only put it in place for the agents who are actually recommending OWN and their client uses them. But imagine having how would we track that? It would be a pain to do. Only some, not everybody. So we still want you guys to submit the own affiliated business disclosure to all your buyers, just to make sure we're catching the ones who are actually using own. That was my big takeaway there. Questions on that one? Easy. Oh, Janet?
Yeah, I guess I want you to explain that again. So like if I recommend a roofer, I need to have something signed.
Well, affiliated business, meaning if you have a company where you have a financial interest in, so not quite the same there.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Like Todd, for example, he just started a home inspection business as a service to his buyers. He gets a little bit of a kickback if his company is used. So we have to disclose those affiliated business disclosures, just like OWN. If you guys use OWN, there's a financial relationship between equity and OWN.
Okay.
So, but recommending roofers that you don't have a financial interest in, just keep giving them 3 choices. That's
What
the
if
big
you're
one.
dating?
Great question. I mean, that's a great question. What if you're married to or dating someone? You need to disclose, because one could argue you have a financial interest. You want your partner to do better.
Sure.
So I would
Okay.
disclose it.
That
Or break it
that
off.
makes sense.
Or break it
That
off.
decision.
I know.
Depends. How does he treat you? All right, guys. Cruising right along. This is... Oh, confidential information. Informed consent. So, long story short, this new language allows a broker working with a buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant. So you've got an agency relationship with a client, buyer or seller. You can now share confidential information to your employing broker or supervising broker for the purpose of proper supervision, so long as the employing broker or designated broker does not use the confidential information to the detriment of the buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant.
That's already in our contract.
They took it out.
Now
Now, it's not even back yet, but they've updated the rule that
So
states when you enter into a listing agreement with a client, there's express consent, meaning it's under the impression that I'm working with you and you can share that information with your employing broker if it's going to benefit me. One thing to be aware of, if you're double-ending a transaction and you call in, you're double-ending a transaction with another equity agent and you guys call in, we might split you up. I help Stephanie on the listing side, Greg helps Zara on the buy side. That's to keep our recommendations separate so we're not favoring one party over the other. That has happened maybe 5 times in 15 years. We'll go Dominic and then Stephanie.
Do we still have to fill out that consent form?
I knew it was coming. Most likely not. There's one sticking point that our corporate attorney is reviewing before we pull the plug on that form. And it's related to express consent, explicit, express written consent, and informed consent. We just need him to take a look at if there's a liability or if that express consent is enough to just say, yep, we're good. If we use the information to the detriment of the buyer, seller, and landlord, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't use that information against your clients. So, but you know attorneys. So in the next week or 2, be on the lookout. I'm probably going to pull that informed consent form. You don't need to do that anymore. That's my guess, unless he says something otherwise. All good? All right, moving right along. This one is kind of as a result of the NAR settlement. This one isn't going to change that much for you. But as of today, before providing any brokerage services to a consumer, you now have to have a formal listing agreement signed that outlines your compensation and the duties that you perform for your client. It was kind of up in the air before. We had NAR saying you had to do this. Well, NAR isn't DORA. Now DORA is saying you have to have these agreements signed before you conduct brokerage services. Before, you could just default as a transaction broker and write an offer for somebody without having to get anything signed. You might not even know that, though, because we didn't want you guys to be doing that. Our policy has always been get the exclusive right to buy or the exclusive right to sell or the brokerage disclosure to buyer signed prior to working with the client. Now it's going to be enforced by DORA. So if you're showing homes out there, if you're working with a buyer and you don't have an agreement signed right now, effective today, they're monitoring that. They can do random audits and check those dates.
I know we're running out of time, don't want to muddy the waters, but Saturday, here we go. Buyers do not need to sign an agreement to show home. It says you can open doors, but you just can't talk about it.
We can get through that real
I will
quick.
share that with you, but
I can quickly address that.
it's like it's muddy the waters because people read this, so do agents. Well, it says right here, I don't have to sign anything.
It doesn't muddy the waters in the way that we operate.
Okay.
So you are correct. DORA states, DORA, Division of Real Estate, the people who regulate us, you do not need a listing agreement to do an open house or show a property. But then separately over here, we have this whole mess between NAR and MLS systems. You guys are members of an MLS, RE Colorado, PPAR, and you have a participation agreement that states you can't show homes unless you have a listing agreement signed. So that's kind of been a conflict for 2 years. DORA is kind of like, I don't care what NAR and the MLSs are doing, but there's still some weight behind that too. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Long story short, you should just get that document signed anyway, because it's a checkpoint to tell them how you get
So
paid.
someone calls in your
I
listing.
know.
What is that?
So someone calls in
It's
your
from the
listing.
Denver Post.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the Denver Post.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Somebody calls in your listing. What it used to be is I would show up and I would have how I work with you form, right?
Yep.
The transaction. So what am I doing now?
Nothing, because you represent the seller in that.
Okay.
You have a listing agreement with the seller, so that's a listing agreement. You're providing brokerage services to the seller.
So the brokerage disclosure.
I'm
buyer.
still
So
doing
then-
the disclosure form like I've always done.
Yep,
This is how I work.
you present the brokerage disclosure to buyer with the customer box checked. That tells the buyer, I have an agency agreement with the seller, but I can still prepare an offer for you. The only other caveat is if you did a change of status disclosure on the listing agreement, you change from an agent to a transaction broker, working with both buyer and seller, then you would need to do an exclusive right to buy with the transaction broker box checked for the buy side.
Okay.
We'll put more of this information out because that just sounded like a lot.
Yeah, no, okay.
But you following?
Makes sense.
Cool. Katie.
So does that mean if we go to show a home to someone new, let's say, we can no longer have them sign the definition of, we can't use the definition form, because I've been using that and getting the buyers to sign that.
No, I mean, that form's good. But to satisfy the NAR requirement, the brokerage disclosure to buyer is the form that you want to sign because it has a compensation disclosure on the last page.
Oh, that is the book,
Yeah,
but
so there's
it's
definitely-
basically just definitions, it's not the whole buyer listing.
No, yeah. Either the exclusive right to buy or the brokerage disclosure to buyer.
Okay, that's what I did.
But the definitions of working relationships, that just has 3 categories of the types of representation. It does not have the compensation agreement.
They don't even have to sign.
But they have to sign the buyer disclosure.
Brokerage disclosure to buyer or exclusive right to buy. And we could pick this apart all day long. We don't know how the MLS and NAR is going to handle it if they catch you not signing it. So just sign it. The more important piece is that it gives you the time to slow down and tell them how you get paid and what you're going to do to help them. That's why we just do it.
But that form has changed.
It changed 2 years ago. Yeah, there's just now a page that says, in the event I write an offer for you as a transaction broker or an agent, and it gets accepted, my fee is X. And that satisfies the NAR requirement. Fun stuff, isn't it, guys? We'll check back 2 months, because I'm sure it'll change again. Yeah. All right, the last couple pieces, guys. What did I just do?
Single agency.
Go one more.
Oh, I think I had I had 2 of the same slides. One with my note. There's mine there. So that's the one we just covered. Okay, this is another one. If you're working with a buyer and there's a non-Colorado Real Estate Commission approved form, contract being used, so a builders use their own contracts that favor the builder, maybe a bank. We've been seeing a lot of short sales and some Janice. We see some contracts with those guys. If it's not a contract, Colorado Real Estate approved form, you now have to tell your client in writing to seek legal guidance because it's not a real estate commission approved form. That's all we're able to use are Colorado Real Estate Commission approved forms. We can help read those non-approved contracts, but you have to tell your buyer to seek legal counsel.
Will we have a form in our?
Good question. Yeah. We will eventually be adding that to our buyer due diligence checklist that you guys have all of your buyers sign. But for right now, if you just send an email in that situation, hey buyer, this is not a Colorado Real Estate Commission approved form, it's the builder's contract, and you might want to seek legal guidance because those contracts favor the builder.
Would that be every time they're going to sign a new disclosure to resend, or is your email everything you sign from this buyer from now until close?
I think just the initial contract, and you could even work into your message some of the addendums and those kinds of things that are also non-commission approved.
And should we not put anything in the buyer's contract about something like that?
You could. Yeah, you could do that. In the event that we submit an offer on a new build, those are non-commission approved contracts. And you need to seek legal guidance. I bet they'll add something into our contract to buy and sell on that, or into our listing agreements on that in the next couple of years. All good? Yeah. Sorry guys, we're running late here. We're done. Those were the big ones. Take some time. And if you have to take off, you can. Brianna's got some really cool marketing stuff to show you real fast. So thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Brianna, you got time? Any questions about those things I just threw at you quickly while Brianna's setting up? What's that? Your head spinning? It's not too bad. I think for the most part, we kind of already were doing those things.
Sorry, you guys. Little tiny setup.
Go get them. Yeah.
All right, you guys. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to truly go through the creation of a full marketing kit, but as I mentioned on your desk, these are generated by list reports. This is kind of the dashboard when you come into list reports. One of the dashboards here, this is actually shareables. This is a free service to real estate agents. Own pays for list reports. You guys sign up, just create an account, put your picture in there, your mobile phone number and email address, company logo. I can help you set up all those things because I have the equity logo. And if you guys want to put together a presentation for a potential seller doing a listing report on their property, you can put together some really cool marketing materials on their house. I'm going to use Stephanie as my guinea pig today because she's the one that asked for this. So I picked one of Stephanie's listings to show you guys what these kind of put together. I don't want to edit it, I just want to see it. Let's see, and now it's not being very cooperative. Here we go. I'm going to show you all the things that are in these marketing reports when you create them. I want to show you how to create them because it literally takes a second. You just put in the property address. If there's a Redfin or a Zillow link, you can put that in there. The photos pull, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the square footage, it all pulls from the MLS and generates these beautiful kits. There is a property website that's put together with a gallery of all of the photos. Our Wi-Fi in here is just slightly slow. Maybe that wasn't the best one to click on. But it's got a gallery of all of the pictures. It can have your bio in there. Gosh, and it just looks so bad. I'm so sorry, you guys. But photo galleries, exploring the area. On the back side of these flyers, this will give you a little bit of an idea of some of the information that it pulls on these properties. Things that are close by, restaurants, gas stations, dry cleaners. Gives a little report on the schools, outdoor activities that are nearby. All of this just pulls for you, and it takes about 5 minutes to put one of these kits together. You can choose the photo. Excuse me, got the hiccups. You can choose the photo that goes across the top. You can choose the photos that go in this little cluster down here. It's going to automatically put the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms in one of those boxes, 2 of those boxes, but you can choose to move those around or get rid of the number of bedrooms and bathrooms because it's already at the top. You might as well showcase the pictures of the house, but you get to choose what goes on here. Your description pulls, you don't have to write it again, pulls it right from your public description from the MLS onto this little piece here. It is a little on the short side. So you want to probably pick the highlights of the house or maybe the things that the person coming through your open house isn't going to see. They're going to see those hardwood floors and the granite countertops and all that light. But maybe instead you talk about the AC unit that was just updated and that hot tub that comes with the house and how recently the roof was replaced. Or maybe how close it is to those nature trails because that's the part that they're probably not going to see. So the things that you want to leave them with. You can
so
generate
it's editable.
It's editable, and you want to kind of just shorten it, pick a highlight in there, put something small. It's not going to fit your full description that fits like on Redfin. So something kind of condensed. There is a QR code. You guys want to try the QR code or put in the text to the 2C more if you want to text that and see what happens. Put that into a text message, and you'll get all of this information. A link to the property website on your phone, and then you as the agent collect that person's information because it just captured them as a lead. So rather than printing your MLS sheets and having those at your open house, this is it's prettier, it's prettier, but it's also going to capture that information. Anybody that takes this with them and then scans that QR code or puts that little code in there, the 2C more, into a text, you're going to capture their information, making every person that comes into your open house that much more valuable to you.
Wow. That's good.
There's also, I want to show you some of these other things in here, you guys. There's sign riders, the listing, the promotional report, these beautiful property reports can be pulled up. If you're sitting down with somebody about this house, or if it's maybe one of those elevated listings, you know, the ones that are like $1.2, $1.4 million, and you don't want to just do a flyer, this is a multi-page flyer that is put together. And you can have this done by, is it Color Production or Color, what is it? Yep, Color Production. FedEx, Office Depot, they can put this in a nice like multi-page pamphlet, a brochure for you. It's going to have all that same information, all of the schools in the area, all laid out in a really nice whole brochure about the property. When you're doing this for somebody who's thinking about listing their home, that's the one I really want to show you. Oh, somehow I ended up on door. I want to be able to help you guys put these together if you've got a listing now, if you've got one that you're going to be meeting with a potential seller and want to sit down with them and put that listing report together. I want to help you guys create these. Again, it literally takes minutes. Once you've accepted the little relationship with us and we're paying for your subscription to list reports, you can go in and create these yourself. They can be co-branded. They can be just single branded. If you have someone hosting your open house for you, this information down at the bottom with the agent's information can be your open house poster. Doesn't have to be your information on there, but you might co-brand it with theirs and yours, or if you're doing a partnership. A lot of customization that can be done with these, and again, it just takes a second because it already pulls. You might just clean it up. No, I want a different photo. The editing, it's instant edits. There's also shareables. I'm sad I lost my page. I wanted to show you the shareables. So in your inbox every day, if you want to just go into list reports, pull something, a quick social media post, can't come up with any content. Every single day there's just a little something and a little graphic that you can grab from list reports to throw up on Facebook. I'm just busy this week. I haven't had time to sit down and put something together. List reports, I'll send it to your inbox, or you can go in and grab it and throw it up or customize it. Use it as maybe an idea, just a talking point of what's going on out there. Again, this is free for you guys, and you should be using it. It takes a second to put this together. I'm happy to sit down. Dominic wants it. You got it. Anybody who wants this, send me a text or an email, and I'm happy to sit down with you. We can jump on the phone together and do this this afternoon, this weekend. If you guys have that open house, let's put these together so you can take these with you. Again, we co-host open houses with our agents. We love to. We've got the signs. We'll bring refreshments, sparkling and still water. We'll bring a bouquet of flowers or candles or balloons. I've got a helium tank in the trunk of my car. I'm not even kidding. So whatever your open house needs, we'll bring it. We'll be there with you. As folks are coming in and they've got questions about those interest rates, we can answer those right there on the spot. I do so many of these. I usually school myself up on the property before I get there, so I know how many bedrooms there are, or when the home was built, or I know when the roof was replaced because I just put it in the flyer that I made for you that I print and bring to your open house. And so I'm answering questions. You're talking to one couple. We got another family coming in here, and they've got questions. Don't do those open houses by yourself. And of course, if you've got events and things, we'll co-host those with you. Classes, we've got the content. I do first-time homebuyer classes and seller classes all the time. So if you guys want to host a class, an event, or an open house, we've got all the resources you need. So use us. Yes, Dominic.
So should we just call you first, or could we access some website to create an account ourselves? How does this whole thing start?
You can go into list reports and request sponsorship by us, or you can just tell me that you want to be connected and I can send you an invitation. I can set that. I don't think I can set it up for you. I think you have to say, yes, I want to be connected with Own Home Loans. But Amir has this if you guys work with Amir. I have this if you guys want to work with me. But this is a free resource. We already pay for it. You guys should be using it. Any other questions? Yes, Ray.
What is the link that you go to? You said shareables, but what is the link that you go to create a listing presentation thing on a potential property that you're going to meet with someone?
Yeah, this is the part that I really wanted to show you guys, but we kind of ran out of time. I'm going to go in and log in to list reports. Yours is going to look slightly different. Mine's the lender view. Yours is going to be the agent view.
Just listreports.com.
Listreports.com. You go to marketing kits. And if I want to do a new marketing kit, this is what it looks like, you guys. It's so tiny. I'm so sorry. But then I just throw the property address in here. 4466 is the one that Stephanie and I just did together. Independence Street. Cute little pumpkin of a house. Pulls all the details. We've already got in here. Oh, it's so tiny. I don't know if you can see it. Here's the public description. Number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, the year belt. Already here. I've got to shorten this because I'm only allowed 650 characters in this box, so it's highlighted in red. I need to just cut some of that out, or it'll do it for you. If you're just in a hurry, it's good, go. And it'll just, kind of take the first group of sentences there. If you're doing an open house, you can put in the dates for that open house and the times. You can leave it blank. Choosing your photo is as simple as, I love that one for the front. We'll go with that one. It's this easy. This had the most adorable little front room. I love the look when you first walk in the house, and then, let's see, maybe I want to show that cute master bedroom because I paid for that virtual staging. So let's definitely show off that virtual staging in the bedroom. Boom, done. Generate. Takes about 30 seconds. Then you can still go in and make those edits, and we've got completed flyer, postcards, the brochures. It's all done. The link to the website that you can post on your Facebook page or on your own website all comes up just about instantly. And then, of course, those shareables that you were asking about, Ray, they're right here. So here's one for today. This looks like it's so small for you guys. DIY projects, electrical work, HVAC installs. There's a little text here that you can just copy and paste or clean it up, change it, or use a different graphic. I don't like that one. That was a little too wild. This one's pretty. It looks a little bit better with my brand. I like that one better. This is money-saving renovation tips. Same content, but it looks a little different. So you can pick and choose how you want it to look. It's right there. It's instant and free for you guys. So hit me up with a text or an email or a phone call. I'll help you generate your first one, walk you through it. We can do it over the phone, Zoom, share screens, and I'll show you guys how to do it so that you can create your own, but it's so easy. You'll just be like, I can't believe I didn't know this existed.
Nice. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Sorry, I had to talk like an auctioneer there to try to get all of that in.
You definitely did that well. You did that well.
Good to see all you guys. Anybody need a strawberry? I call them my strawberries. Have you guys seen these bags? These are not our. Yeah, where do you grab it? My cords. Cool. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Brianna.
Yeah,
Those are
you're
awesome.
so welcome.
One more resource in addition to the other things we have. And that is pretty slick, I must say.
Pretty slick?
Yeah, pretty slick.
I think it's pretty slick.
All right, guys, I'm cruising through these next pieces. Sorry, Brianna.
No worries.
Sorry.
There's more?
Quick events.
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you guys about a new round table that we're putting together. So we had our business building round table. That was fun for a lot of months, and then it kind of just tapered off. This is our monthly roundtable discussion where we're going to be talking about anything you need. This is your chance to come to this group with me, Greg, Sarah, whether it's business building, contract scenarios, anything you want to discuss. You've got us for an hour and a half. So that starts on August 24th, which is a Monday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 at our DTC office. Stephanie.
Once a month?
Once a month.
And thank you.
Yeah, of course. You bet. Buffini, Pathway to Mastery. I just have to quickly plug it. September 14th. We need more registrants. So join us. It's a great course. Everything we talked about today, Buffini will be that blueprint for you. And then exactly what to say. This is going to be an amazing class right here in this room. We're flying a guy out from Texas to teach this course. It's about negotiation strategies, overcoming objections. This is going to be extremely valuable with your listing presentations, your negotiations, and your transactions. Please, please, please come to this one.
You're going to send those dates out.
Yes, these will all be sent. Buffini is September 14th. Runs for 8 weeks.
On Mondays.
Yep, on Mondays. And then the holiday party. How the heck are we already talking about the holiday party? We're shooting for the first week of December. So just so it's on your radar, keep an eye out for the final invite. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us late. Do we have listings or you guys just need to get going? Okay, we can stick around. If you guys want to share listings, I'll call Crystal first.